Ladies and gentlemen.
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new here. On today, I wanted to talk about the death of the Black Love Guru. Now, some of you may be wondering what exactly is the Black Love Guru? All right, so probably somewhere about, probably is my new favorite word for some reason. I've been saying that a lot lately. It's been about maybe close to 10 years where a lot of well, before we call them podcasts, it was just YouTube channels, right? But now it's fancy, it's podcast. Um, there was this onslaught. There was this almost like a takeover of Black love. By Black love, I meaning like Black relationships or African American relationships, or however you want to put it. There was just this heavy, I just call it a takeover, but there was just like a blanket of Black love guru or relationship specialist, or what do they call them now? Love coaches or life coaches all over YouTube. It was very, very intense, even. Now, this stemmed from somewhere in the early 2000s. People really started taking notice that Black relationships, and I think this really stemmed from actually the lack of two-parent homes within the Black community. There was like this intense, like, what's going on? Like, why are, fathers in the home and or mothers in the home? We always say, fathers, but there are absentee mothers as well. There was this entire concern that was taking place of where is Black love? Where are Black on Black relationships? And, look at the impact that the lack that is having on Black adolescents, Black youth, Black, especially young Black males, Black girls. And we look at the prison pipeline. It's like, well, where are there any Black, fathers in the home? And they're all locked up, blah, blah, what's going on with the kids? So and it's always like they or the powers be, I have no idea. But since that was like a going theme where it really started to be noticed and identified, there was just a creation of individuals that really began to highlight that topic. And especially, that was right as like YouTube was really, people were really getting into YouTube for, their own personal reasons, but it was like really a place to go and voice your opinion about something. And before now, it's like, everyone's on it for money and make your money. I'm not knocking that. But it was just a really big topic. So what happened was it went from talking about Black adolescents and Black youths and where the fathers in the home to, well, let's break that down where it takes two to make a baby, right? So then what's going on with the Black relationships? And so there was a massive amount of individuals that were, as quote unquote, getting to the bottom of it. What's going on with Black love? And probably some of the more famous ones, deceased, or one is kind of recently deceased within the past 5 years. So I'm not going to talk about this particular guy. But if you're someone, and I never watched any of his podcasts, but I am, or his YouTube channel, I am familiar with his name, initials KS. That's all I'm going to say because I don't like to speak ill of people that aren't here. But I am familiar with some of the things that people said he was saying, that he was really harsh to Black women. And I think that's kind of where the term high value man came from, or high value male. And so after he passed, there have been a couple of guys, one in particular, I will say his name because he's here, he's living. His name is Antoine Daniels, who I guess he's supposed to be like, filling that spot or kind of taking over. Um, Now, this is kind of news to me. I've watched probably, this was maybe it's 2026, so this has definitely been about 2 years. About 2 years ago, I watched maybe two or three of episodes that he has on YouTube. And that was before, to my knowledge, that was before he started talking about black relationships. But he gave me a negative vibe. I was like, oh no, I don't know who this guy is. I'm not watching him. Like I said, I watched probably two or three, maybe, and not even two or three, episodes or videos in its entirety, but just like, okay, because YouTube, the algorithm was pushing it, right? And I just couldn't I'm like, oh, he's negative. He's way too dark. He's way too, almost like spiteful. And I don't like watching people like that because I feel like it gets in you when you surround yourself with negativity. So I just turned it off. And then more recently, there's a beautiful lady by the name of Cheyenne, or Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. She's kind of been like the female voice for black love and or black relationships. But then it came out that she's, I think she's 43 now, never been married, doesn't have any children. And so, and no disrespect to her at all, but it basically came out that she just does not have a relationship to stand on. She was in sort of this circumstantial or physical transactional relationship. And you can go watch one of my previous videos on that. But basically, you can't give advice on something that you don't have, right? And so that's kind of the perspective. And sure, a broken clock can be right twice a day, But basically, it came out like you don't know what you're talking about because you don't have it or you're not taking your own advice. Anyway, and then there was a guy by the name of Derek. I don't know if it's Jan or Jackson, Jaxn. I have no idea how to pronounce his last name, where he was giving out all this relationship advice, but it turns out like he was a serial cheater on his wife, and he was kind of using her faith against her, like manipulated in some kind of way to escape accountability. Anyway, a lot of people, with the cameras or the phones in their faces, telling you how to, especially telling black people how to find love and, what to expect, what not to expect, what to settle for, what not to settle for. But we're not walking their own paths. We're not walking in their own truths, right? Just kind of, okay, pandering, if you will. Like, this is a hot topic, so I'm going to get in, cash in, and then I'm going to cash out when it's time. And so what you've noticed over the last, I would say, steady year, for the last probably entire year, 2025, midway into 2026, is that there aren't a lot of conversations taking place around black love. In fact, what you're noticing more is everyone leaning towards isolation. And I talk about this I kind of, skim the surface of it in a previous video if you want to go back and check it out, where everyone's kind of leaning towards loneliness. And it's like, protect your peace and, and I'm all for that. But in order to have, you can have a peaceful life, but you'll be the only person in it. If you're going to deal with humanity, it's going to have some disruption, right? But with the death of the Black Love guru, where does that leave Black people in search of healthy relationships? Or have we reached our pinnacle? Have we reached the point to where we have been informed, we received the information that we need to receive? Women understand how to date, how to court. Men understand how to date, how to court, how to marry. And now we don't need it. Or was it just a distraction? Did it solve anything? Does anyone feel like they grew from this whole, let me tell you something I used to hate hearing. Are you healed? Or I'm healing. When I tell you, oh my goodness. that whole I'm healing and queen and king talk, I mean, that was so ooh, load bearing to hear constantly. Are black people healed? Are black people the kings and queens, if you will? And I'm not being sarcastic, I'm just being slightly funny. Are they healed and are they whole? And where did all of the black love gurus go? Again, you have a couple of people still trying to stay in that course, and you really see it on Instagram. I'm not on TikTok, so I don't know if it's there, but definitely on YouTube. It's not as strong or as prominent as it was. Now, what I am noticing, and it's something that I particularly don't like, and I don't want to speak to every person or over every person, but I'm seeing a lot of pandering towards Christianity and Christian love. And it's something that I didn't think I would see. Well, something that personally I never even thought about. But I'm noticing a lot of people, and I was very, I'm going to finish that sentence. I was very hesitant to make a video on this particular topic because, one, I am Christian, but also I don't want to say to anyone what God has told them to say, right? Like, I'm not God, so I don't want to even step into that pond of thinking that I can say, oh, you're lying, or oh, you're telling the truth, right? Because God may have told you this thing to say. So who am I to say he did not tell you that? But what I've noticed is an increase in a move from the whole black love sector into the he's coming, sis, you know? And it's like the videos always start with and let me skin on thin ice because I kind of feel like I'm being pulled into another direction. But I'm kind of noticing a pattern of, I don't know who this is for, but when I read the Bible and whenever God gives prophecy, it really is like he's speaking to a people or to a person. Like he's going to let you know who it's for. Now, people would say in response to that, well, let me take that back. I feel like the Spirit is telling me to take that back. So let me take that back. Let me just say this. Be careful in what you're saying and make sure that you're not pandering because you know people, especially people that are, looking for love or looking for relationships or looking for a word about their finances or their job or, their family relationships or their health. Make sure that you're not manipulating scripture or intentionally manipulating scripture and intentionally, logging on to manipulate people to get views. That's what I'll say. Be very careful and cautious that you're not doing that. Now, having said that, switching back to the black love or the death of the black love guru, part of me wonders, and this is just the part of me that is slightly, I don't even know the term. I was going to say that's not even a word. Part of me that's into, conspiracies and the whole psyop, psychological operation. Part of me wonders if that was like a psyop. I do wonder, and then you can leave this in the comments if you wonder this as well. Where do all of the trends come from? Like, something will be hot for, let's say, a month, 2 months, a year, 2 years. I do wonder oftentimes, especially with heavy topics, where do they come from? So with the black love thing, we know that stemmed in part from people started really paying attention. And as black people became more educated and a bit more progressive, okay, why are all of these black people ending up, or, specifically black men, because there's a heavy population of black men in jail. Where's this stemming from? Why aren't there black males in the home? And okay, well, let's look at black relationships. And that's where that stemmed from. And then I I'm just saying that that's where the Black Love Guru came from. It's like, let's try to bring Black people back together. Let's try to have healthy relationships, healthy dialogue. Let's learn how to fight fair. You know what I mean? Because that's very real in a relationship. You do have to learn how to not go below the belt and not argue to hurt somebody, but to have discourse, to create a foundation. So I can understand you, you can understand me, and we can grow and become one together. But you do realize it does, that's deafening now. Now everything is just about, as I said earlier, it's into isolation and into self. And more people, as we have more and more access to people through technological services, a lot of studies are coming out saying that people are more lonely. And that's because we're not talking to people, we just have a phone. I can just look at you on various social media sites, or like when you go to, maybe you go to the gym. People aren't conversing. People are, they got the headphones on, their earbuds in, everyone's zoned out. And I haven't been to a club in a really long time, but as I understand, for those that do, most people have their own areas, their bottle service areas, their own tables, or they're, standing in the corner. Like, no one's really interacting. We've lost the art of actual conversation. And everyone is so suspicious of everyone's intentions to where no one trusts anyone. And when you don't trust people, what do? You don't talk to them. You don't hang with them. You don't go out with them. And so everyone's just like, I'm in my bag. I'm in my bag right now, Or everything is for likes, or everything is for, followers. Everything is for, because eventually, the goal is to have, that money, the bag. So the death of the Black Love Guru has turned into, I'm not going to say the death of Black love. It's more so morphed into the hyper independence of both genders. The hyper independence of both genders. Black women have already been classified as masculine, not in their feminine energy, hyper independent, and now men are like, can't trust these women, and women want too much, and standards are too high, or, all of these things, to where, it's kind of torn people apart. What was supposed to bring people together has torn people apart. Or like I said earlier, people are leading towards pandering in another direction. So the death of the Black Love Guru has just manifested into something else. And now I wonder what's next. So from there to isolation, what's next after that? Because even the apps, even like those dating apps and stuff, even that has gone down. People aren't swiping left or right. And maybe that's just because of the economy, right? Like maybe just because everything seems like it's so expensive. Maybe people are just fatigued. And I'm just going to segue here. Something that I've noticed within myself is that there's almost just a general fatigue in terms of just dealing with, the day-to-day stressors of life, work, and then, of course, what's going on in our world. Maybe we're just all kind of drained, and it just takes too much out of you to interact, or too much out of you to open yourself up, to the world. Like everyone just wants to get back home where it's safe and where it's sound and where it's peaceful. And it's like, oh my gosh. Or you want to be around those who you're already around. Like, I'm not meeting anybody new. And I don't mean that just in a romantic sense. I mean that, just in, friendly nature. Like, I just want to go home. And that's something that I see a lot on different social media sites, where people just don't want to go outside anymore. And a lot of alcoholic corporations are taking the hit. They're noticing that people aren't drinking like they used to. And yes, a lot of that is because we've become more, health conscious, and we're now, we're taking our probiotics. We're, making sure that we're up on our vitamins, our supplements, and, we're not doing things that we know is detrimental to our health. But I think we've always kind of known that alcohol wasn't good for us, but it seemed like a good time. Like, you go out, you have a drink, you'd host a party or a kickback or a barbecue or a bar mitzvah, what have you. And, well, not a bar mitzvah, but maybe a quinceañera, you would have some wine, or, the adults, of course, you would have a glass of wine or champagne, and people just aren't doing it in that capacity overall, and the industry is just hurting. The industry is just hurting. Also, something else that's hurting is restaurants. Of course, we know that, right? Malls, of course, we know that. Places where people, and this is, we can say, Big Daddy Amazon has taken over. Yeah, because people don't want to go out and shop anymore. It's so much easier just to open an app on your phone and order something that looks cute, looks like it'll fit. And if it doesn't, I can just send it back. I don't have to go to the store. I don't have to try it on. I don't have to get it home and feel like, because you know how when you try, especially ladies, ladies hear me on this one. You go out to the store, you try some stuff on, it looks wonderful, you buy it, you get home, you go to wear it on a particular day, or you try it on again, and it's like, oh no. And then you got to go back to the store, may or may not have a hassle. That's another thing. Customer service. People, let me tell you, I used to work in the service industry when I was in high school and a little bit into college. I loved retail, probably like most girls. I loved being around clothes. I got a discount. But you know what? Honestly, it was draining though. And I was actually someone that actually had good customer service. I was friendly. I was helpful. I would go beyond measure to help people. And I'm going to tell you, I don't care how nice you are sometimes. Some people are just nasty and rude. What did Nene Leigh say? So nasty and so rude. So nasty and so rude. Yeah. So I definitely have had those experiences. And so when you take something back to the store, depending on the customer service you receive, you may not even go back to that store. There have been times I've taken something back or tried to take something back, and it seemed like it was such a hassle. It's like, oh my God, I'm just never coming back. And I'm the type of person that I'm not a call your manager kind of person. I'm just never gonna come back to your store. That's it. Even though it's not your store, I'm never coming back here. And I'm that way with the restaurant as well. If I have terrible customer service at a restaurant, or the food is just like, I just will not come back. And granted, everyone can have an off day. Everyone can have a bad day. Sometimes, food is cold, or it's too hot, or they just didn't get it right. Or you go to a store and the cashier just, for whatever reason, has a terrible attitude and is taking it out on you. Or maybe you have a not so great attitude. Or maybe it's just a misunderstanding. You never can quite connect back, right? But you just don't go back. I'm the customer that you just will never see again. And usually that's the worst kind of customer, because then you can't fix it. So how many people have that mentality of, I'm just not coming back? Like, I don't have to spend my money here. I'm just not coming back to this location, right? Or maybe I'm just not coming back to this brand. Like, I'm done, So that's another huge thing that's taken a hit, and we're seeing that. Also, all of the layoffs. Oracle just laid off 30,000 employees, I believe, today, through email beginning at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's heavy, guys. And I know I said I'm going to keep it positive. I am, and I'm going to put a positive spin on it in a minute when I find one. But Think about that. I know what it is to log in at work, walk in the office, you log in, and to open up your email and to see the notification, and you're waiting to see if you're getting the letter. And you look up and you see, 4 rows down, the row of cubicles, this person getting up, this person leaving their last message in the team chat. Hey guys, take care. It's been great. It's been real. Keep in touch. I know what that is. So with so much uncertainty, it's almost like I think people are just kind of like scared for their life. You know what I mean? Their livelihood. That can be anyone at any level, any socioeconomic status. That can be anybody. I can recall when COVID happened, and I'm not going to get too heavy, but I can recall when COVID happened. And I was someone that was considered essential personnel, so I was never shut down. I was still getting up, going to work every day at the same time that I had to be at work. But I can recall hearing stories about physicians because, a lot of hospitals were turning people away that were not, emergency because we're in this pandemic, especially like private clinics and things like that. I can recall hearing about physicians that were struggling to stay afloat because whatever economic level you're at, most people, I don't care what you make, most people spend a good amount of their income every pay period, if you're someone who's weekly or bi-weekly or monthly, or if you own your own business and maybe, I don't own my own business, so I don't know how often you really get your net income in, outside of or minus your expenses. But if you get a lump sum, you might spend a lump sum. Most people, when they get money that they feel is theirs, they spend it. So I can recall hearing about a lot of physicians struggling at that time. Like, one girl was saying, like, my dad's practice, like, he doesn't know what he's going to do. Or my dad works at a hospital and, they don't have patients. I mean, people are income. People are capital. And I hate to say that because it sounds very cold. But America is a capitalistic system. Whether or not we want to believe it, America is about $1. America is about $1 bill, and it looks at people like dollar bills. And you can even look at the TSA shutdown that's happening right now, or it's not the TSA shutdown. It's Department of Homeland Security. But think about the shutdown and how it's affecting TSA. They just got checks today, guys, or I think they should have gotten them yesterday. After how long of not receiving a paycheck? How many people can work past, let's say, past one period without receiving a paycheck? Most people budget paycheck to paycheck, income to income. All right, Rachel of Sunshine. So where's the sunshine? Where's the silver lining, right? Here's the silver lining. America, and really, I'm just going to speak to America because I'm American, right? I live in America, and I've never lived anywhere else. So I'm not going to give you a globalist perspective when I can't give you that when I have never traveled the globe. I'll be very real about that. The silver lining is understanding that we are all on borrowed income, regardless of what you make, unless you're, generational money, generational wealth, or you're, unless you're, I was trying to think of the accounting terms, but my mind just went blank. unless basically your outgoing or your expenses are way less than your um, what am I trying to say? My mind is really going blank right now. If you're if you're living beneath your means, that's what I'm trying to get to. So if you're living way beneath your means and you know how to budget very well, you know how to manage very well, um, you're probably okay, right? Or you're going to be okay. This is a wake up call, especially with what's going on with the student loans that I think they completely annihilated former President Biden's plan under the SAVE Act or whatever it was. I can't remember. All of this stuff is leaning towards, not that everyone maybe can have their own business, but you need to have some type of outside business. And or you need to find a way to make money. And getting back to the old ways of things. If you're someone that knows how to bake a pie, honey, bake those pies. Go to your nearest school, go to your nearest church, go to your nearest event place. Say, hey, I bake pies. I may not be able to do anything else great, but I know I can bake a pie, okay? So when you need someone that wants this pie or these kind of pies that I bake, here's my card. Here's a sample pie, you know? You know what? I know I'm not really good at anything else, but you know what I can do? I know how to shampoo some hair and condition it, and maybe I can flat iron it, or maybe I can do a mean French roll. Whatever it is that you're great at, whatever it is that you're talented at, whatever skill you have sharpened, utilize it. Hey, well, you know what? I'm not really good with my hands or anything like that, but you know what? I really know how to talk. I really know how to hold a conversation. I really know how to host. So when you have something, call me and I'll be your MC. I'm really good at that. I'm not nervous. You put me in a crowd full of people, I light up. I can take over that. That's what you do. Hey, I'm not really good at any of that kind of stuff, but I do know a lot of people and a lot of people know me and I'm cool. Okay, so I know how to be a good liaison. I know how to connect people. Do that. You liaise. That's what you do, baby. You liaise. Well, I'm not really good at this. And I tell you what I am good at. I'm pretty. I'm nice to look at. That may be somebody's gift. As simple as it may seem, as some people may be jealous when they see a pretty woman walk into a room. And that's okay. All right, so you know what you do? You go to one of these high-end dealerships. They might need a receptionist. They may need somebody to walk around and greet the guests. That's what you do. Or you go to your up-and-coming dermatologist private practice. Hey, I have really great skin. I'm really pretty. Do you need a face to put on your take a photo of me and put it on your not your door, your there went my mind went again. You want me to put it in the not the window, but you know how like they have those glass, like the door is glass and then the walls are glass. They would call it window shopping. Put my photo right here. I have no blemishes. My pores are invisible. I'm beautiful. Use me as your model. That's what you do. Hey, well, you know what? I really can't do anything. You know, I'm athletic though. I'm a for the guys, you know, or even for the women. I'm a good athlete. All right, so you be a personal trainer. That's what you do. Or someone has an up and coming. Maybe they're a trainer, or you just say, hey, he trained me. You get on social media. That's what you do. Okay. Somebody that, especially all of these little leagues, these junior leagues, where the community league sports that happens every Saturday when I'm driving to HEB, I can see people playing soccer. I see people playing football, basketball, all these sports outside. Hey, do y'all need trainers? That's what you do. Hey, I really can't do any of that. I'm kind of just domesticated. I know how to clean house really well. Go knock on some doors. Hey, do you need your house clean? $100 per house, or $50 for the bedroom and kitchen, or whatever price you want to choose. That's what you do. You good at cleaning? That's what you do. Okay, that's what you do. Well, I'm not really good at that or any of those things that you mentioned, Rachel of Sunshine, but you know what? I kind of like an outside office. I have a decent running car. Okay, so here's what you do. Go knock on some doors. In your neighborhood, you be a personal shopper. You don't mind driving around. You don't mind going in HEB at 5, 6 a.m. That's what you do. The silver lining is whatever it is that you're good at or whatever it is that you don't mind doing. Sometimes the gift or the talent is something you just don't mind doing. Me, personally, I do not like doing laundry. I don't like folding laundry. Let me say that. I don't mind putting it in the washer. And then from there, it's out of my mind. I don't even want to put it in the dryer because I know that means it's going to dry and I'm going to have to fold. If I could afford having a laundry service, I would have one. If I could afford someone just coming in and just washing and drying my clothes and hanging them up and put them in the drawers, I would have that. So whatever it is that you don't mind doing, like it's nothing to you, like how does that bother you? Do that. Because the thing that you don't mind doing is your gift to somebody else. The thing that you don't mind doing is a gift to somebody else. Okay? When I see pretty much every Saturday morning somebody's getting their lawn cut by a lawn service out here, I'm in Houston. And yes, they do it for money, but I'm also sure they probably don't mind doing it as much as the person who's paying them. Now me, I don't care anything about mowing a lawn. I don't have a lawn mower. My mother's fiance mows my lawn. They do that for me. But if I had a lawn, sometimes I even think I should just buy one, but they're like, you're a lady, you should not be mowing your lawn, blah, blah, blah. I appreciate it. That doesn't bother me. I'd mow every lawn in my neighborhood. I like gardening. I'd mow every lawn for everybody in my neighborhood. They pay me because I don't mind doing it. What I don't mind is a gift to somebody that does mind. Okay? Maybe you like to cook, or maybe you don't mind cooking and you're good at it. You don't have to go to school to be that personal chef. Everyone doesn't need a personal chef. Some people just want a home cooked meal. That's what you do. All these new housing developments coming up. Go to that builder, go to that contractor, go to whoever. Sometimes it's like a real estate. Oh my goodness, guys. It's some kind of spider. I'm going to have to stop here. Some kind of spider in my house. Okay, guys. So I don't know what kind of spider that is. So I had some scrub-free shower stuff. So I sprayed that, and then I realized I had some type of actual insect killer spray. And so I sprayed that, and then I put that plastic thing over it just so that if someone in the comments knows what kind of spider this is, you can tell me. That's a big A spider. Me and my country self thinks it's a brown recluse. I hope not, because those things are terrible. But I did see a dead spider that resembled that one under behind my bed frame. So I have some, I forget the name, something. I ordered something off of Amazon not so long ago. So I'm going to put some stuff down tonight. And then, because this is like I said, I saw a dead spider a couple of days ago, and now today I'm seeing another spider, a living, breathing spider, and I just cannot. So I'm gonna put some stuff down tonight, and hopefully, that's that. So if they come in, there's like a little bitty sill underneath my door. Like this, I'm pretty sure that's how they're coming in. Um, which is weird because I'm sitting right in front of my door and I didn't see it come in. That's what's making me nervous. I'm sitting right in front of my door at home, or kind of like, I'm in the living area, and I feel like I would have saw something that big crawling across the floor, but it made it all the way across the living room. So I'm not 100% sure where it came from, but I'm going to put some insect killer down in front of all of my door frames just so that I can feel a little bit more secure, because let me tell you, that's not a jumping spider. That's not a friendly spider. That's a big ass spider. So, and Mama doesn't do too well with spiders. So if you know what kind of spider this is, please let me know. But yeah, just to get back to what we were talking about earlier, and then I'm going to wrap it up. Whatever you're good at doing, or whatever it is that you don't mind doing, make that your business. Make that your, I don't like calling them side hustles. Make that your way that you generate income for yourself. So your future self will look back and say, oh, I'm so glad I did that. Because at the way things are going, the way things are set up, we're going to have to, look out for ourselves. So let's just do that. Until then, thank you for watching. If it's your first time here, please subscribe. I'm not ashamed to say, I want to get my subscribers up to 1,000. I'm at 99. I'm hopeful. I want to reach my 1,000 subscribers by the end of July. So I'm going to be uploading content, good stuff too. Until then, and then I'm going to keep it going. So thanks for watching and have a good day.